So this is a story that you guys may remember from a few years ago, okay? And this was a time when, as usual in Chicago, man, there was a lot of murders of neutrons, people that have nothing to do with gangs, by gang members. And this is a common thing in Chicago that occurs all the time. But this one was caught on video, and whenever something is caught on video, it always gets more attention. So now the brother of this particular guy who I'm going to talk about in this video was claiming on camera to be an SD when he was attacking this guy who was claiming that he was a Neutron. Okay, and it does not appear that this was like gang related. They suspected that he was an op. It just appears to have been over the confrontation or altercation that they had in this parking lot. It was actually over a car just backing out in a way where one of the guys, it was too close to him. So it does not appear to have, been a situation where they suspected he was really an op and when he was lying to them or something like that. But anyways, the brother is not the guy who was just sentenced. Okay, the one who claimed to be the SD, he was not the one who was just sentenced. It was the brother named Martin. And whether or not he's also an SD or whether he's something else or whether he's nothing, that's not evident as far as like information that the police made public. But I mean, the brother claimed to be an SD, so that much we know, at least on camera. Okay. Now, sometimes guys claim to be something they're not. I mean, as strange as that might seem, that does happen. This is something where I didn't see any charges upgraded due to gang affiliation, so I don't know. But anyways, was accused of murdering another guy on a South Loop grocery store parking lot during a Mexican Independence Day celebration back in 2021. And he even said right then and there on camera, and it was audible, like you could hear him say, "I'm a Neutron," and he ends up shooting him. Okay, now it was like, he was way bigger. I'm talking about the Neutron was way bigger than the gangbanger. But still, it didn't look like he was really, trying to do anything to the gangbanger. It was like the gangbanger starting the whole thing. But anyways, this was during the Mexican Independence Day celebrations, and during these ethnic celebrations in Chicago, a lot of times there's violence because you got, usually in most of these ethnic groups, there's multiple different gangs. And so, when all the gangs are coming out at the same time to the same event, they cross paths and things turn bad. But this one was weird because, he was saying right then and there he's not nothing. So, anyways, the guy who did this was just sentenced to 45 years in prison. And cell phone video of the murder went viral. So the guy who killed him, his name is Martin. He's 31 now. He was convicted of 2 counts of murder during a jury trial on February 1st. And during Friday's sentencing, according to CWB Chicago, the judge handed Martin a 20-year sentence for the murder, plus a 25-year enhancement for using a firearm during the crime. Okay, so this was on February 16th, 2021. A guy named Christopher and a group of his friends had headed to the South Loop to participate in the increasingly popular street gatherings that celebrate Mexican Independence Day. And you guys have seen me upload some of those to my channel. They're doing the burnouts with the cars. They've got downtown area packed. And they ended up at the Jewel parking lot over at 1340 South Canal. Okay, so this was full of Mexicans that were celebrating their Independence Day. So at the end of the evening, the group's driver backed out of a parking space. And Martin's brother became upset because the vehicle was reversing near him. So that's according to prosecutors. And this is what they claimed during initial court proceedings. So his brother yelled and banged on the car and started arguing with members of the group, including Christopher. Okay, so the issue that started this whole thing was, Christopher's guys were backing out of a space. And Martin's brother was like, it's too close to him that they were backing out of this space. It didn't seem like they were trying to hit him, but it was just like they were too close to him when they were backing out. So prosecutors said that Martin's brother shoved Christopher and claimed to be an SD, while Christopher repeatedly exclaimed that he was a, quote, Neutron, meaning that he wasn't a gangbanger. So a fight broke out, and at least 2 cameras recorded the incident. So as the two struggled, Martin, who already had a gun in his right hand, entered the fray. He put the gun right to the victim's face and shot him, according to an assistant state's attorney. The claim after he was arrested 10 months later. So 2 videos of the altercation went viral, including one which showed Martin wearing a red shirt. Now, red is not the color of the SDs. Well, I mean, it's the color of several different gangs. The Rasas wear that a lot. I would say they're the ones that wear it most often on like as far as the Mexican gangs on the south side. But police officers who work in Little Village identified Martin almost immediately from video images, but it took authorities nearly a year to find him. So there was a lot of like accusations flying around, and so from the beginning, the private defense attorney, whose name was Joseph Lopez, he argued that Martin was acting in defense of his brother. So he continued that argument at trial and claimed in a post-conviction filing that the gun was fired during a scuffle. So this is interesting because this is the same type of thing that just happened with Baby and Ken Ben. Ken Ben apparently was swinging on Baby, and when Baby shot him, and Baby was let go for that, claiming that it was self-defense. Well, in this case, from the video, I did not see Christopher swinging on them. So ultimately, the jury reached its verdict on the same day that it was given the case. And so Martin was on parole for a felony gun case at the time of the murder. However, he would have still been in prison had prosecutors not dropped a second gun case that he picked up while on electronic monitoring as part of their plea bargain. So, okay, again, we have a guy who potentially, under a stricter system, would not have been on the street. But whether or not Martin himself is an SD or not, I don't know, but his brother was claiming to be an SD. And I told you guys multiple times, man, saying that you're a Neutron or acting like you ain't from nowhere, a lot of times it does no good. Like, you just give no answer, you just tell them you're a Neutron, and it doesn't matter, man. There's even been times I've heard where, like, guys have, like, shot members of their own gang on some suspicion like that, man. So, anyways, this is why it's very unsafe to raise, like, especially on this type of false identity stuff, young Hispanic males in Chicago, because they still have that, like, citywide gang thing where it's like you could be an op to somebody that you don't know. Most of the black gangs now with the hood structure is like, not the citywide gang structure, just like a neighborhood set structure. Now, most of them know who they're after, and other people know, them as far as like the face card and stuff. I don't see too much mistaken identity going on like that amongst them anymore. Back in the 90s, that was an issue, but with the Hispanic gangs, it's still an issue. So, this guy was doing all the right stuff. He didn't have a shag haircut, which is some of the gang members had. He wasn't wearing the wrong colors. So why this guy even told him, his brother, I'm talking about Martin's brother, why he even, started telling him he was an SD is, I don't know. I don't know why he would tell him that. But anyways, you guys let me know what you think in the comment section, man. Rest in peace to Christopher. But it's just another example, man, of neutrons getting killed in this stuff, man, when they have nothing to do with nothing. Is why, the only solution is to get one's family out of that environment, because this is definitely a place where mistaken identity can get you killed big time. So, anyways, rest in peace, Christopher, Manager Boy, Chicago News. I'm out.